sort of a complicated deal here. You've got Burger King, which is private, a part of it being sold to a group that's part owned by hedge fund manager Bill Ackman,
right?
And it's going to suddenly pop up on the NYSE.
Right. I mean, it seems like Burger King just went private yesterday, but it was end of 2010. They spent 2011 kind of getting their act in order in private, and now yesterday, Justice Holdings, which is a investment vehicle, they raised some money over in London. It's led by the hedge fund manager Bill Ackman. They're buying a 29% stake in Burger King, and they're going to take it public. And I guess the end result is it's going to be public on the New York Stock Exchange in 2-3 months. So
is the idea here that by taking it public and selling a stake, that the original private equity buyers will over time cash out of their stake? Maybe Ackman will increase his, or they just sell more shares to the public?
Well, at this point, it's sort of an easy way to get back on the public markets right now. Instead of going through the whole IPO roadshow, it's almost like a quasi-partial merger with Justice, and then, like I said, the end result is that they're going to be wind up being publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange.
And you mentioned with Burger King getting back on track, right? And they've been getting a little bit back on track, but they still have an uphill slog.
They're pretty far off track at the moment.
I think in the story there was, last year for the first time they were beat out by Wendy's, so it's McDonald's,
they're
Wendy's,
number 3
and
now.
Burger King, number 3, which I wouldn't have guessed. I would have thought it was always McDonald's and Burger King.
Are you a Burger King gal?
I'm neither, actually.
Neither.
Only when I go on road trips.
Taco Bell, that's it.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, when Burger King went private, they were struggling. I mean, they really almost didn't know what they were doing. They were discounting here and there. Their costs were too high. And what they did last year was that they cut a lot of costs, and they were saying, we're really going to focus overseas. And I think one interesting thing that came out yesterday is they're changing their name slightly from Burger King Holdings to Burger King Worldwide. So they're really putting that global focus in there. But even in the U.S., you mentioned they fell behind Wendy's, and that did happen. I mean, their same-store sales are still negative, and they haven't gotten back on track. They're still in that less negative territory, so they're not as bad quarter to quarter.
Right.
But what they are doing is they're revamping their menu. I mean,
that's been a big complaint by the franchisees, right? That they haven't really done much with the menu.
Whereas the other, you have seen
right.
with the other fast food restaurants, right? They have salads, they have chicken
right.
wraps, all those kinds of more healthy,
right.
Things on the
You know a little
menu.
bit about the menus than you let on.
Under the old management, there was
sometimes.
a lot of complaint about not enough innovation and a lot of just resorting to discounting and not focusing on what makes Burger King, the Whopper, I guess, and their burgers. But just more recently, you see them revamping their menu. I think just earlier this week, or maybe last week, they announced they were coming out with smoothies, wraps, new salads, lots of things that kind of Wendy's has done to revamp itself, and McDonald's as well. So they're kind of copycatting somewhat, but it also just shows they're investing and kind of behind their brand and following what's working. So I guess
they're in turnaround mode, and the hope is
right.
that by this will maybe allow them to tap additional financing if needed,
right.
or start putting them on a different course.
Right. They want to get things going the right way in the U.S. But like I said, their focus is also overseas. 3G, the firm that bought them in 2010, they're based in Brazil, and one of the things they really want to do is grow this brand in South America, Latin America, and they're also.
Of course, they're going to have to grow it here first.